Right, before I go and get very morbid to discuss this horrendous case, I'd just like to say a big thank you to all of those who turned up for the Ghost Walk on the 30th of November. The walk worked incredibly well, and we raised a grand total of £76 in aid of the Lindra Cancer Centre. As far as I can tell, those that did come on the walk enjoyed it, but they may well have walked away from it complaining about being dragged around a field, being talked at by a fat hairy man with a ridiculous moustache. Either way, I haven't had any complaints, so I'll take that as a positive. But know that I really am truly grateful for the support you have all shown. Talking of support, something bizarre happened with my Vampires in Wales video released a few weeks back. Normally, the borderline moronic content that I churn out gets, on average, 35 views in the first 30 days. That's fine by me. I don't have a huge following, my editing skills leave much to be desired, and my channel is relatively new. But on that video, things blew up. The views rocketed up and are currently at 1.7 thousand views at the time of writing. I have no explanation for this, and, judging by this comment, which made me laugh out loud, some of you were as baffled as I was. However, this made my ego grow to unimaginable lengths, and I began having delusions of grandeur. My girlfriend brought me back down to earth though by reminding me that it had probably hit an algorithm somewhere and not to sign myself up as the new First Minister of Wales just yet. Joking aside, thank you for all your support, and I hope that I'll be able to entertain you with many more stories. But enough of my pandering to the masses. Let's look at the tragic case of Tracey Woodford. On the 21st of April 2015, 47-year-old Tracey Woodford had been shopping in Pontypridd town centre. Before she left to go home, she made the fateful decision to stop off at the Skinny Dog pub for a drink. She left several hours later with a local man after the bar refused to serve her as she was highly intoxicated. She was seen on CCTV leaving with his coat around her shoulders in an act of chivalrous behaviour. Similarly, staff at the Skinny Dog described this man as a nice bloke, although a bit of a joker at times. It appeared that Tracey had found a nice man willing to help her. They were all wrong. The day after this encounter, Tracey was reported missing by her mother and brother. Police went to work trying to track the movements of Tracey on the day of her disappearance by looking at all the CCTV in the area. Eventually, they found the recording of her leaving the pub with this man. This prompted them to interview the staff, who informed them of the occurrences at the pub the night before, including the name of their first suspect. Tracey had bumped into Christopher May along with a group of friends, and the pair, along with the rest of the group, had been drinking and laughing for most of the day. Come closing time, the pair had left together with his jacket over her shoulders to shield her from the cold. Detectives arrived at Christopher May's flat, where they described him as being uneasy with them, but also smelling a putrid odour of, as they described it, gone-off meat. Upon entering the flat, everything appeared to be in order apart from that smell, until a scene out of a horror film was found in the bathroom. Behind the shower curtain, detectives found the partial remains of Tracey Woodford. Christopher May, a retired butcher, was arrested on the spot. Following the initial discovery of some of her limbs in the shower, Investigators found her torso in a bag stashed in one of May's kitchen cupboards. After interrogation, police were made aware that pieces of her were flushed down the toilet. A purse was found in the flat with a severed finger in it, and her head had been carried by May in a plastic bag through Pontypridd town centre to the town rugby ground, where he stashed it in a storm drain. During the court case, Tracey's poor family had to listen to the horrific details about the night of her disappearance from a man who showed no remorse or value for life. May talked about how they had gone home, but he'd caught her stealing from his wallet, which caused them to get into an altercation. From here, he stated that he'd been forced to protect himself, and that he didn't know what happened after that. The truth couldn't have been further from it. Based on the evidence of the case, May had been making sexual remarks to Tracey and had lured her back to his house with the promise of more drink after she'd been refused in the pub. Although she'd refused his advances by saying, "I'm not that kind of a girl," she went with him to his flat where it appears that he tried it on again. When she again refused, he flew into a rage and strangled her to death before having sex with her corpse. He then proceeded to watch pornography until the early hours of the morning, when he set about the task of using his skills as a butcher to dismember the poor woman. Christopher May was given 28 years for this sadistic and callous murder. Not enough, in my opinion. As for Tracey's family, this horrendous ordeal has taken its toll and broken them. Her mother wakes in the early hours of the morning screaming her name, and her siblings suffer with the horrific details of the case. I can't imagine the horror that Tracey's family were put through throughout the course of the trial, and I hope that they can find peace after the disgusting behaviour of a man who can only be described as a demon. I appreciate that this has been a much darker episode once again, and as with the Vampires in Wales episode, I will release a less morbid episode during the Christmas break. If you haven't seen that episode, it's known as Goot, and I shall put a link to it in the description or up in the top corner of the screen now. But before I think of a subject for that next episode, I will be releasing a longer one-off episode on Christmas Eve in a Victorian tradition. I hope to see you there for that. Anyway, that's all from us here at Dark Entertainment. We hope that you've enjoyed the episode. If so, please like, subscribe and drop us a comment. We are also on Facebook and X. And if you have a story or location that you'd like us to look into, please feel free to drop me an email at dark_entertainment@outlook.com. And remember, stay dark, stay creepy, and always laugh. Ta-ta!